So welcome again to those of you that have just joined us. This is our March Plant-Based Cooking in Schools workshop from ProVeg School Plates. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do and why we do what we do. But that won't take too long, and then we'll pass over to Lisa, who's going to be cooking up some new recipes today. So we are part of ProVeg UK. We run a program called School Plates, and we're part of a much bigger global organization called ProVeg International. So you can see here on the map, we've got teams working in 10 different countries across 4 continents. And our mission is a shared one, which is to reduce the global consumption of animals by 50% by the year 2040. And each country does that differently. In the UK, we decided when we set up 5 years ago, just over 5 years ago now, that we were going to focus on school food, and that was where we would have the most impact in changing behaviours around food. So I'll just talk you through a little bit. So currently we work on the School Plates programme with about 41 major catering partners. So that includes 31 local authorities, mostly in England, a couple in Scotland. And that equates to over 5,000 schools that are eating and benefiting from those healthier and more sustainable menus that we help to tweak, which in turn is over 800,000 children that get to eat from those menus every day. So those numbers are creeping up every time we have these workshops, which is great. So School Plates, our aims are simple, which are to make school food healthier and more sustainable. Those are the 2 key reasons that we exist. The other kind of added benefits are that we're finding that doing this, the more whole food plant-based dishes that go on your menus, the more money we're finding our partners are saving, and also that these dishes are more inclusive. So if you have children with allergies or perhaps dairy or egg intolerances or that sort of thing, you're making it much more inclusive. And for children of different faiths, it's just a case of cooking one meal rather than lots of different variations. So hopefully it's a good help to you. And everything we do is evidence-based at ProVeg. So we look at all the kind of latest evidence that's out there. One of the sources that we look to is the Climate Change Committee. And they are the government advisors on climate change. So they have a guideline for local authorities specifically, which suggests that they should offer a fully plant-based option every day on menus and ensure that staff are trained in vegan and vegetarian cooking. So those are 2 things that we do through our School Plates programme. Just wanted to show you this slide, which is a bit of analysis we've done based on all the hundreds of menus that we review for schools and councils and multi-academy trusts and private caterers. We review menus all the time. So we've taken the most popular meat-based dishes, the ones that we see most often, same with the vegetarian and then our plant-based dishes, and we've just run the average CO2 emissions for a primary school portion. So you can just see the meat-based is much higher. The vegetarian is about half the emissions of a meat-based, and then our plant-based dishes are about half that amount again. So just over a quarter of a typical meat-based dish. And again, just a little comparison here. Again, you'll find this if you want to have a better look at it after today in both of our brochures that you can download from our website. So we're just looking at a typical spaghetti bolognese with beef, and then we're just comparing it to an identical recipe where we've taken out the beef, and it's 60 grams of beef, which is recommended for a primary portion, and we've replaced that with 30 grams of lentils and 30 grams of soya mince, and then we've just done a comparison. So the plant-based version is about 27% cheaper. It's 87% lower in saturated fat. It has more than double the fibre, which is super important, and emits less than a third of the emissions. And almost identical protein. That's something we get asked a lot is, will the dishes have enough protein for children? They absolutely do. We make sure of that. We analyse every dish that we create to make sure it gives all the correct nutrients. So yeah, just to show you really the difference that this can make on lots of different fronts. Plant-based food is also really good for children's health in general, as it is for everyone's health. So it helps to lower the risk of obesity. It helps to maintain a healthy weight. The fibre that you only get in plant foods helps to reduce the risk of chronic diseases. So things like stroke, hypertension, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, some cancers are all linked to not having enough fibre, not having a healthy gut microbiome. And so plant-based food helps with those, reducing the risk of those diseases. And as I said, it's packed with fibre. You only get fibre from plant foods, and it's the thing that we, especially children, are often deficient in. So this is a great way to get more fibre into our diets. I mentioned the 2 free resources that we've got that you can download from our website. We've got the guide and we've got our recipes, and that's Chris Packham, who's our School Plates ambassador, just holding those up. So if you go to proveg.com, you can download both of those for free. One of them just talks you through how the program works, and the other one gives you all of our recipes so far. The new strand of the program launched in January. Some of you may have already submitted your menus. We've had lots of menus coming through, and basically we've put our program into a checklist of actions. So we have 23 actions over 3 different categories, and if you send in your menus to us, we'll go through them and score them, and it'll give you some feedback on what you're doing well already and what things you might want to consider, and then those points convert into bronze, silver and gold awards. So would encourage you to send your menus in. It's completely free to take part, and you might win an award. This is just to flag with you, BBC Radio 4 had a programme at the end of January all about vegetarian and plant-based school dinners, so you can have a look. We will put the link up in the chat after these slides are finished. It just gives lots of perspectives around why this is so important. You get perspectives from head teachers and children and parents. So if you're interested in this area, which I presume you are because you're here today, do have a listen to that if you haven't already. And that's just our contact details. If you want to download the brochures, go to proveg.com. You can also get all the information about the School Plates Awards there. And if you have any questions, obviously, please ask us today. If you don't get a chance or you'd rather contact us after, then send us an email to schools@proveg.com and we'll pick that up. One of us will pick that up. Oh, we've got a slightly wonky slide, but that's okay. We've got new recipes today. I'm about to hand over to Lisa, but I was just going to run through what Lisa's going to be covering. We normally have all the analytics of the recipes, the nutrition breakdown and the cost and the carbon. We haven't done that because these are brand new recipes literally being developed all the time. So we've got essentially a ragu recipe Lisa's going to show you, which is a bit like a bolognese sauce you might be more familiar with. And Lisa has turned it into a multitude of different dishes by just making some tweaks. So you've essentially got one simple recipe that you can turn into lots of dishes. So Lisa's going to cover a homemade lasagna, a rich ragu with spaghetti, a crunchy topped moussaka, a Mexican style baked burrito, I think also a jacket potato, and the pudding is a creamy coconut and mango pudding. So I hope that sounds delicious. They're all plant-based, and I'll hand over to Lisa.
Thank you so much. Hello everyone, lovely to be here. So yes, we've got quite a lot to get through, but what we've found working with caterers is obviously time is precious because you've got such a huge amount of people to serve. So the one way to make things really simple is, as Colette was saying, have like one recipe that can be tweaked and made into several different recipes. So that's what we thought we'd work on when we're thinking about how we're going to develop new recipes for you, how to scale them up. And I'll talk a little, I'm just going to turn my hob. It is a little bit loud, apologies, so I'll speak a bit louder, but I'll let you know, let me know if it's too loud and I can use the hob behind me. So before we start, we've got a poll basically, yes or no answers, nice and simple, just a bit of interaction. So do please answer this question and then we'll see whether or not We all agree, yes or no's? I'm just going to close mine. So I'm just heating up my pan. I've got a little bit of oil, and I've already pre-made my chopped my ingredients. So with this ragu, I keep wanting to call it a basic ragu, but that makes it sound like it's not a nice ragu. It is a really nice ragu, so or bolognese. And what we're going to do is we're going to add different herbs and spices to jazz it up. So first of all, I'm going to add in the onion for that lovely sizzle. And what we do, we kind of work backwards. We'll turn it down a bit. So we start by working out the amount. We work with the school food standards, obviously. That's the most important thing. Like everything, school food standards adheres to everything that is required. And then we look and see how much. I'm just going to add a little bit of stock in. Turn that right down. How much we need per child, and then we work it out to 10 portions, and then it's easy for you to scale up and scale down. Right, so just cooking that off. To that, I'm also going to add some chopped carrots. So we've got celery, onion, and carrots so far. Nice and simple, good ingredients, readily available, which is always good. So yeah, the reason we developing our recipes from maybe a slightly different angle is just from the feedback we get, which is invaluable. So I know Colette mentioned it, but any feedback we get from you, we listen to, we take on board, and we learn from. So in it goes. So I'm not going to cook this for as long as you would normally do that, because you don't need to see me stirring the carrots for too long, because I've already pre-made some as well, but just to give you the idea. And you probably do this maybe with a meat dish, I don't know. But we're going to be using dried soya mince. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with dried soya mince. We do use it in some of our recipes that we currently have in our brochure, which is free to download, by the way. They're just behind me that you can see. I'll just show you it, because these are still fantastic recipes. So this is free to download. It's got 35 plant-based recipes. These ones we show you today are going to be in a new brochure. So, but you do use the dried soy mince in one of our recipes for a cottage pie, which is lovely. Okay, so now the good thing about dried soy mince is it's high in protein. It's store covered ingredients, so it's easy to store in your kitchens as well. It's high in fibre, as I said. Yeah, high in fibre, high in protein. It's got a good texture to it. A lot of people that, or children, adults that eat meat but also want to try plant-based dishes, find other brands a little bit of a funny texture. So this dried soy mince we found is actually quite an appealing texture. You know, it's got a bit of a bite to it, got a bit of a chew to it, so it doesn't just disintegrate. So that's another good thing. And yeah, and ultimately it's very good for you. And as Colette was talking about the importance of good gut microbiome, good having high fibre in your diet, tick, all of those things. Okay, so I'm going to add in some tomato puree. It's like I've gone for a run. I'm like literally out of breath. The excitement, cooking. So
The excitement of the new recipes.
Yeah. I'm just going to cook this up, cook off the tomato paste. It's always important to cook off your paste so it doesn't, so it's sweeter, tastes better. Mixing that round. And then to that, I'm going to add chopped tomatoes. And all I've done is I've just filled the tin with some water, swirled it around to just get the excess out, so there's a little bit more liquid. In that goes. Because we appreciate, we do in-person workshops as well, where we come to your venue and we work with the caterers. So we really get to see exactly how you cook and your equipment that you have, the size of your trays, and how cool it is to get the recipes right so that they are user friendly for you. And luckily, we've had fantastic feedback from our current recipes. Just going to turn this up a little bit. And to that, I'm going to add lentils. So these are from a tin. They're brown lentils, green lentils actually. Again, very good for you, high in fibre, and store covered ingredients again, so easy to store, so you can buy in bulk. What we do as well, we check with a lot of the suppliers that you use to make sure the ingredients that we are suggesting you can get. So that's always, so we think about, we try and cover all bases. There's no point in us developing recipes with an ingredient that's either really expensive or you can't get hold of. So, and we also look at the amount per child that is required. So, for example, vegetables per child would be around 50 grams. So we need to think about that. Pasta's 55 grams. I'm just going to tip in the dried soy mince. And dried soy mince absorbs the liquid and puffs up. So that's why we add quite a bit of stock.
We've just got on next. Oh yeah, sorry, we've got the results up of the do you use soya mince? So 50-50. Interesting. Yeah, so 50% do currently use it and 50% don't. There we go. Okay. Hopefully they might try it now, those that don't.
I would highly recommend you try it because it's really good. I have it at home all the time. I'm not just saying I'll get it for the children. I actually eat it, my family eats it.
So do I.
Yeah. So in fact, on that note, all the recipes in the brochure, everyone at ProVeg eats. So to this particular mix, the original mix, I'm going to add some garlic sauce. And then this would now be the base of all the other different dishes that we're going to cook today. So because I'm going to start off with a lasagna, I'm going to add in my Italian herbs and oregano. Mix that round. Now, of course, herbs are really, really good for you. So they not only add flavour, they actually have health benefits as well. So think of all those lovely warm spices. And also, yeah, just really jazz up the dish, make it more exciting and interesting. It's good for the children's palates to appreciate the different flavours. So I'm just mixing that right in, and what I'm going to do now is you bring it to the boil, and then that's going to simmer for around 15 minutes. So really quick. You can make it in a big vat, and you can freeze this as well.
We've just had a question, Lisa, from Geraldine, who asks, how much does soya protein bulk up to? So what would be the conversion from meat to soya mince? What would you think? I would think it kind of probably doubles in size. Would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it's normally for hydration 3 to 1. So okay. It really does puff out quite a lot. So we would use typically, we were talking about this yesterday, 75 grams of dried soy mince. And then that would be enough for 10 children. But remember, we're adding the lentils as well. Yeah. So I guess it depends whether it's just pure, you're not kind of blending with lentils.
Yeah, and I would say, Geraldine, have a look at the school food standards, because it gives you for each type of ingredient how much you should have. So kind of, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's sort of 50 to 60 grams of soy protein versus what you would have of meat. I think it's slightly less of soy protein because it bulks up once you add the liquid. That's a very long-winded answer, but I hope that helps.
No, okay, so I'm just going to put this on to simmer over here.
Oh, and just a quick comment from Michael, who says we use 3 to 1 in our dishes at TDE.
Oh, that's what I thought,
yeah, just as Lisa said. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. So I'm going to make a white sauce for you. Again, you've probably done this a million times. And the thinking, oh, you know, also vegan white sauce. It's basically a white sauce, but it's just dairy free. A lot of people have, some people have intolerances. And as Colette said, it saves you making it twice. And it's made in exactly the same way, but we do use, thinking about it from a health perspective, how we want to get more vitamins and minerals into the children, we do add something else, which I'll talk to you about, because I'm sure if you've been to one of our workshops before, you'll be familiar with it. So I'm just, as you would do to make a roux, is I'm just melting some plant butter. And where did I get my milk? I need to just quickly put this in a glass. One moment. Oh, I'm lying. I did have it out. I am more organised than I thought. There it is. Okay, so melting my butter. Doesn't take long, obviously. The reason I took the milk out is farm milk is I want it at room temperature. There's no point in using it to heat up straight from the fridge because you're just wasting energy. Okay, so in goes some plain flour. Again, you know, you've probably done this a million times, no different, but I think sometimes it's good to be shown it isn't any different. And again, it's a little bit noisy, so I'll speak up. We're just cooking off the flour. And then you just start adding hot milk to get a nice thick sauce.
Just got another quick comment, Lisa, from Mike.
Sorry. So as you probably well know, it takes a little while to make a white sauce or roux. Not too long. I'll get it as far as I can, and then I've got one that I made earlier. So keep stirring. And I know plenty of chefs that will pass it through a sieve if there are any lumps. Luckily, I haven't got any. But they just whisk out anyway. So what I've got is something called nutritional yeast, which I'm sure you're familiar with if you're, as I said, if you're a regular to our workshops or familiar with our recipes. Now, nutritional yeast, I'll show you. I've got some cheese in there as well. I don't know if you can see. It's a nice yellow colour, so good for cheesy sauces. And it also contains vitamin B12, a really important vitamin. So you can get it in a supplement, but you can also get it from using the yeast. And it's just a really simple way to ensure you're going to get enough of the vitamin B12. Okay, so my sauce is thickening. I'm just going to add a little bit more milk now. And then I think you get the idea. And then I will add in my cheese, a little bit of plant cheese, not too much. I think 25 grams, school food standards per child is the maximum. But we're not going to have anywhere near that much. So I can't really show you, but it's thickened up nicely. Turn off that heat. I'm going to add in my yeast and some plant cheese.
Just to reassure people, it doesn't taste yeasty, does it? It tastes cheesy and kind of creamy.
Turn this off so I can hear you.
Okay, sorry.
So say that again.
Just saying, just to reassure everybody who's not used to using nutritional yeast, it doesn't taste yeasty. It tastes cheesy and kind of creamy, nice taste. I've got a quick couple of comments. Michael has just said that they also use a pea protein, which is totally allergen free as a substitute for soya mince and beef mince, and just says it's a great product to save you money. And then Carrie Ann has just said we have children with pea protein allergy at 5 council. Will the soya protein be safe for them? Yes, it absolutely should be. We are starting to see some children are having pea protein allergies as there's more. I mean, I guess kids get allergies to all sorts of things, but it's currently not one of the main 14 allergens. So, yeah. Thank you for your Oh, and another comment, sorry, that pea protein can be grown in the UK too, so less CO2 emissions, which is a great point. We've been trying out some UK-based pea protein recently at School Plates. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you. We love it when you comment. Right, so there you go. That is the white sauce. And I'm just going to get rid of some of my empty plates. Check on my, give that a quick stir because I want it to break down some of the water, the stock to evaporate. Okay, so we're going to make a lasagna first of all. And again, we do it in tens because it's 55 grams, as I said, of pasta. So you would have to weigh each pasta sheet to make sure we're not getting too much or too little of the pasta. Ooh. So this is just exactly right. It's 3 sheets. Anyway, so I'm just measuring it for you. Now to that, I'm going to add some of my mince. Now I've studied many ways to make a lasagna, and there are many different methods. So I should have actually asked, do you layer your bolognese sauce or your roux first? Your ragu first? Because there's lots of different methods online. This is how I do mine, and it comes out, well, you'll see in a sec. And then some of the white sauce. And of course, you'd be making these probably in a huge tray. And it's just, the white sauce is creamy, it's delicious. You can add some mustard powder to it. You can add obviously some nutmeg even. But this dish is exactly 3, so it's really handy. I'm going to give it a little press down, I'm going to layer it up again. And it's just one of those dishes, a lasagna just always is a winner. And you're getting all the lovely goodness of the soya mince, the vegetables, the B12, in this really indulgent Italian style dish that feels, you know, like it's made from at home. Okay, so I'm just going to layer this up, won't be too long. I'm going to give an extra bit there. I'll just do 2 layers because you'll get the idea. Adding some of my ragu. I'm quite generous. And then again, another layer of pasta. And even down to how many layers, we'd figure out how many per child, and that would affect how many layers, etc., etc. I've just got time for one quick more, so I'm just going to really quickly layer that up. And I'm going to put some roux on because I have a little bit extra left. Here's something screaming, that's not how I do it. Wow. Pull that over. And then I'm going to add a little bit of plant cheese, and we're going to bake that in the oven. So really, really easy and quick. Of course, I would be measuring this. I'm just being a little bit liberal today because, as I said, we're really strict on how we measure everything. So over there, and I'm going to grab the one I made before. I'm just going to put down a couple of heat-proof things to protect the table. And I'll grab you one that I made. So this has been in the oven a while, but I will, hopefully it'll still be succulent. I might have dried the life out of it, but anyway. Okay, so let me just show you a little bit. Put it on a plate. And then we move on to the next recipe because time's ticking.
It's 3:32, just so you have an idea of time.
Thank you.
We're good though.
Okay, you can't really see it that well, but it does look very nice and very tasty. So that is our first dish, a nice homemade lasagna with a lovely sauce. It's bubbling away behind me.
It looks good, very good.
Yes, I mean, it's rustic, isn't it? Lasagnas are never the most, mind you, I was looking, right. Okay, so we've got another poll question for you because we're moving on to the next recipe. Oh, before actually, last thing I want to show you, because as well as the lasagna, of course, we've got some lovely whole wheat spaghetti here. And I mean, once you get used to whole, in fact, just say get used to it, it doesn't even taste any different. If anything, it tastes better. It's it's got more flavour to it. It's got more substance to it, I think. So, and you can use the sauce for a lasagna. Sorry, got lasagna in the brain. You can use the sauce to make a lovely lasagna as well. So 2 different dishes, both Italian themed, but you've got your lasagna and your spaghetti bolognese from your one dish. And if you wanted to add another spice to that, you certainly could. But if not, it's brilliant as it is.
2 classic crowd pleasers, I think.
I think so. Classics, children are familiar with them, and they're just really good dishes. I would be really shocked if a child ate that and even questioned a difference. So, but hopefully you'll try and you can let us know. So I think we've got a poll question before we move on, because we're going to be doing the moussaka next. Okay.
Quickly, so the results are in. So do you currently serve any of these dishes? 23% no, but would like to give them a go. 38% do, and 38% no, but they have something very similar. So that's brilliant. Good to know.
I wonder if you have something similar, whether it's plant-based or it's similar because it's a meat-based dish, like a traditional dish.
Mm. Yeah.
And if it is, then it's good that you're thinking they're similar, because they are similar. They taste good. They've got a similar texture. It's just you've got all the health benefits of our version. Okay, so again, I've got my ragu, my basic ragu. So this is just with garlic, without the Italian herbs. And moussaka is a Greek dish, as you're probably familiar with, that has the ragu and also the white sauce. The prep that I did was I sliced some aubergine and grilled them. Typically in the recipe, it would be fried, but I'm not going to fry them, so I roasted them in the oven. Same with the potatoes. I didn't roast them. I boiled them because typically in a traditional recipe you would bake them with oil, but I just eliminated the oil, so you just got nice fluffy sliced potatoes. So and I used Maris Piper, so just really easily available. So to this, I'm going to flavour it with something again a bit different. I'm going to have some cinnamon, because that's the traditional spice used in moussaka. You can also use traditionally cloves and ground nutmeg, but we're going to go with sweet smoked paprika to give it a little bit of heat as well. So in that goes. And I always love the fact you just add a couple of different elements and spices, and you've got a completely different dish, a different, sensation, a different, whatever, that little bit of heat. and you've got this sweetness of the cinnamon, and you mix that in, and it's not, obviously it's not overpowering either, it's just very subtle flavors that you become familiar with. And then again, this is another great dish for loading up. So, you know, you've got your tray, obviously mine's a small tray today, but you could layer this up and bake huge batches of this, which is good. So I'm going to start by adding a layer of the spiced mince. And, you know, I think back to when I was at school, there's no way they would have served us even a meat-based. It was like, it just would no way, you know, it just wouldn't have happened. So I think it's just moved on in such a great way. The fact that we're doing these recipes for schools and children from a very young age, and just experience these different things. It opens up a whole world as well. You know, where's the moussaka from? Greece. Okay, so where's Greece? What vegetable? What's an aubergine? It's just conversation starters as well. So I'm going to layer my aubergine lengthways.
So it's a bit like a Greek lasagna, kind of.
Yes.
It's a layered mince dish.
Yeah.
You've got your bechamel sauce too, just a different version.
Yeah, it's great, I guess, you know, when you don't want to have pasta. So second layer is the potatoes. And yeah, they just wouldn't be serving aubergine when I was younger. I'm making out sounding like I'm really old. I'm not. It's just times have changed and we've got more, they're more available and we're just open to more things. I'm going to do another layer. I'm going to do a layer of, let's see back to the top. Do another layer.
I'm just interested if anybody serves aubergine. We haven't got it as a poll, but just if anybody does or has tried it, what has the reaction been? Because I can think back to being younger, a long time ago, but thinking it wasn't that nice. But obviously this is kind of, it's hidden in the dish. I'd just be interested if you serve aubergine, is it popular or how do you do it that it is popular? We'd just love to know.
Yeah, I'd be interested to know because out of the menus I've reviewed, I don't remember seeing it doesn't it's not highlighted, so it's a shame if it's an underused vegetable because it's a lovely vegetable. So I'm going to do another layer because I've got enough food, and why not? It's going to be delish. I'm pressing it down a bit as well.
We've just got a comment from Geraldine who says price is a bit prohibitive on aubergine. Gary says they use it for roasted vegetables and also for katsu, so it's hidden. So that's good. Nice to hear. Yeah,
that sounds good. Okay, and then I'm going to finish off with the bechamel sauce. Just make a bit of room. Pour it over. To change to a spoon. And then what I've done is I'm going to add something a little bit different to give it some crunch and texture.
Hence the crunchy topped moussaka.
Yes.
It's not crunchy topped moussaka for nothing, folks.
And you could add some cheese at this point, but to be honest, I don't think you need to because the sauce is quite cheesy anyway. So we've just got some breadcrumbs, which I'm going to sprinkle over the top. And they'll go nice and golden brown when they're being cooked. Give that a little shake. And then that's ready to be baked, super easy and quick.
Delicious.
And I will take out the one that's in the oven. Again, it's been in there a bit longer than it should have been, but we'll be all right. So this is it baked.
Oh, hello, that looks pretty good.
Hello, I like the way you say hello.
Mhm.
Hello. And then I'll just serve it up so we can show you what it looks like. I have to do it quite carefully because my heat proof things are quite unstable. So we'll grab this. Did you hear the crunch? So if you can hear that being crunched, but no pressure.
If it all just crumbles.
It is.
Yeah, you need two, don't you? Two servers.
You also need it to be a little bit more stable than on a heat-proof thing, but you get the idea. That actually looks very nice. So again, like a lasagna, it's rustic in presentation. It's not fine dining, but it's hearty and it's good and it's creamy and it's delicious.
Packed with vegetables and fibre.
Packed with vegetables and fibre. And yeah, as Colette said, a crowd pleaser.
So is that 3 ways with ragu so far? What have we had?
It is. We've had lasagna, we've had spaghetti, we've had moussaka. And now I'm going to show you some baked burritos. And maybe I'll clean up a little bit. Excuse the mess, guys. Apologies. I'm going to hide this and show you. So again, we've got our original sauce with just the garlic. And to that, we're going to add black beans and sweet corn. Now, we love black beans at ProVeg School Plates because black beans are the superfood of beans. They're really, really good for you. You could, of course, use kidney beans traditionally in the chili, which are lovely. Kidney beans are great, but black beans are a little bit different. They're a little bit smaller as well. And they're really, really good for you. They're high in protein. They've got folate in them. They've got antioxidants. They're good for heart health and they're good for gut health. And we're going to add in the sweet corn as well. Sweet corn has vitamin B complex. So again, very good for you.
And children love it, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the spice I'm going to add is sweet smoked paprika and a bit of mild chili powder. Mix that round. And again, you can even smell it's a different smell because this time we've got different spices, a different spice. Whereas before the cinnamon, it kind of made it smell a bit sweeter. So that's mixed in. And what I'm going to do, I've already pre-rolled a couple, and I'm going to show you how I pre-roll it. I mean, you've probably done it a million times, but then you can, of course, have a huge tray and line them up. So I'm going to roll one for you. We use whole wheat wraps. So School Food Standard says it can be 10 inches per child, per wrap. And I'm going to load this up. All that lovely goodness. A nice generous serving. And then what you do, which I know you know, but I'm going to show you anyway, you bring it over, pull it back, tuck in your sides, roll it over and repeat. I always like to give it a little squidge at the end. And then in it goes. Just give it that. And then what I like to do is add in some of the sauce over the top. So these can be served hot or cold. So cold, I obviously wouldn't add the cheesy sauce, the white sauce. We're just going to go over with some of the cheesy sauce because we're going to bake these in the oven. And then sprinkle of cheese. These are really, really good. I've had to test them quite a few times, so I know. There you
Perks
go.
of the job.
And then in the oven. No time at all. And with this exact same filling, it works really well on a spud, a nice jacket potato. Of course, you can serve it with rice as well, which is the traditional way of serving a chili. That would obviously work beautifully. We've been working on a crispy chili pie as well. And there you go. I mean, a lovely lunch.
That looks great.
A bit of cheese maybe, but obviously don't want too much cheese, saturated fat. But you can
Very
even
nice.
put white sauce on as well. So I'll leave that there. Okay, so
The ragu that keeps on giving.
yeah,
Giving us
so
new recipes.
a few tweaks with one basic recipe, and you've got different dishes. You've got spaghetti, you've got lasagna, you've got the chili, you've got the moussaka, you've got the wraps, spicy wraps. Now we're going to move on to a bit of sweetness, and we're going to make a really lovely pudding. I really like this anyway, so hopefully you will as well. So in here, let's make the pudding first. Oops. So in here, I've got pudding rice. Just standard pudding rice. And in here, I've got plant milk and coconut milk as well. So again, the ratios will be worked out just so we get all the contents right. But so we'll let you know. I'm just going to cover that.
And Lisa, is it coconut milk as in milk in a carton, or is it coconut milk as in the thicker coconut milk that you have in a tin?
It's coconut milk from a tin, but not coconut cream.
Okay.
So it's still really liquid.
Got it, yeah.
I've tried.
It's not like the kind that you put on your breakfast cereal, that kind, no.
No.
Got it. Okay.
You could use that, but that's the clear one, isn't it? No, actually you couldn't use that one. Sorry.
Okay.
It's from the tin, and it's, what was I going to say? Yeah, I tried it with the lighter one. It works really well. The only thing I'm going to add to this now is some ground cardamom.
Nice.
I'm going to give that a little stir. And then this is super easy to make as well, because you just pour it into your baking tray, your large baking dish, heat-proof baking dish, obviously, and then you bake it in the oven for around 1.5 hours. I mean, we've got a really lovely rice pudding recipe in our brochure, but this is just a little bit different and really tasty. So I'm going to give that a good stir. You pour it into your dish, and it literally does its thing. I was at a school not long ago, and they steamed it. They steamed the recipe, which came out very nice. I think it took a bit longer though, that was the only thing. And then you pour it into your tray. Now to go with that, we're going to make a compote. And we're going to do mango and apricot. So this is tinned mango. which I've broken down a bit, and I'm going to get that straight on the heat because I want to bring it to the boil and thicken a little bit. So I don't need to add any sugar to this because it's sweet enough. And we've got dried apricots. Apricots are really, really good for you. I have one every day, a dried apricot every day as part of breakfast because they've got so many, they're really, really good for you. Anyway, I urge you to try one. So we're going to put some of these apricots in as well. And of course, mango and apricot and the beautiful colours just remind me of sunshine and nice times. And also to that, I'm going to zest in some lime. And I'm going to add a little bit of juice of the lime. And I'm going to bring that, oh, it smells amazing. Lime and coconut just go really, that is such a lovely combination. And lime, of course, has got a huge amount of vitamin C. And it just works really, really well. I'm going to squeeze that in. And you kind of want to break down the mango a little bit, and you want it to thicken. We're going to turn that right up. Oh, did I think we've got another poll question. I think I missed the poll question. I could be wrong.
Here we go, as if by magic.
Oh,
So would children like rice pudding in your experience, is the question. I shall reveal the results in a moment.
So this doesn't take long at all.
So not popular, I'm afraid, Lisa. 20% yes, 20% serve it and the children like it. 5% haven't tried it but think they would like it. 60% no, it's not a favourite, and 15% not sure. Yeah. So hopefully we're trying to jazz up the rice pudding that nobody likes and turn it into something delicious. We've actually left rice out of the title deliberately to entice children to try it, that it's creamy, coconutty and mango, and see if that works a bit better at getting them to try it.
So what happens is, if I've brought it to the boil, it's broken down the fruit, and then when it cools, it thickens. But obviously, I'm going to use it now. And I apologise, Colette, I know you're speaking, but I couldn't.
No, I know you're just ignoring me. It's fine.
So I'm going to add the fruity compote. And of course, the school food standards recommend, I think, 1.5 tablespoons per child. Just move this out of the way. And I like to, obviously you don't have to do this, but I like to finish with a bit of the zest.
Geraldine says it looks delicious. Thank you, Geraldine. I'd like to smell it because I bet it smells good too.
It does. And you've just got that lovely fruity.
Yeah, gorgeous. Got a bit of a sort of Indian, South Asian vibe, hasn't it? It looks really good.
Yeah, it's a really lovely dessert. So I'll just quickly show you what we've made. You've got the jacket potato classic with the chili. You've got lasagna, we've got spaghetti, got lasagna. I apologise if you can't see very clearly because it's such a small screen. We've got the moussaka. And let me see if the chili, the burritos. I actually forgot about them yesterday. And then we've got our burritos, where it's the cheese is melted.
Yummy.
And there you have it, all from that one dish. So hopefully that gives you an idea of where we're going with the new brochure, the new recipes. Love to get a bit of feedback. We kept it quite traditional today, but we won't be doing that the whole time. There will be times where we'll be introducing maybe things that you haven't used before, ingredients that are new to you. But we want to have a nice mix of the familiar and something a bit more, oh, that sounds interesting. What is that? Never tried that. So yeah, thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions?
I think we've had all the questions. If anybody does have any more, please do email us, schools@proveg.com. If you've got any feedback on the recipes, what you think of them, or any tips for us, we're always open to tips. So yeah, do drop us a line. And we will, as soon as the recipes are available, once they're all finalized and tested and we've done all the analysis, we'll be sharing those. So we'll email you when those are ready, but not just yet. But thank you all for coming, and hopefully you'll sign up. Oh, hang on a second. We've got a few questions. Geraldine says, thank you. Michael says, thank you. Gary says, food looks lovely, Lisa. Well done. Shame it's not smell-o-vision. Totally agree. Amit says, we've made rice pudding at home today, Indian style, but we don't add fruits in. Kids prefer eating the fruits separately, but we'll try doing your version next time. That's brilliant. Thanks, Amit. Please do sign up for our April webinar, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Bye.